Rahman Rahim. My name is Dr. Francisco Jose Luis. I'm a lecturer in religious studies and South Asian studies at the University of Toronto in the Department of Historical Studies. And I'm Portuguese by origin. My parents moved to Luxembourg, a very small country situated between France, Germany and Belgium in the 70s. I was born there in 75. And I grew up there in a Catholic environment. Through the grace of God, I was later on able to embark onto the Ark of Salvation of the Ahlul Bayt, alayhim salam. And it's my first time in Karbala, and I must admit that it's a really deeply transformative experience. I never expected it to be like it is now for me. Of course, you read a lot about Karbala. You read texts like, Karbala Zyarah. You need the texts about Ashura. You read the famous du'as that are attached to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But there's nothing really like coming here. It's as if you're able to still see what went on 1400 years ago, in a sense that you see, of course, with your physical eyes, you see what's going on in the streets. You see people walking, you see shops, taking care of their business. You see cars driving. You see, children, playing around. But behind all that, there's still that other reality. The eyes of the heart can still see what happened 1400 years ago, and that really has a deep act. That really had a deep impact on me. I remember as I'm walking, basically, most of the time here, in a short period that I've been here for a week, that this is, for example, a sweetmeat shop, but I'm thinking to myself, like, I wonder what this place was like, during the time of His Majesty Hazrat Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And you can picture yourself, the Umayyad armies, the Battle of Oman, the heroic acts of courage by the knights of the Ahlul Bayt, alayhim salam. So it's it really has a deep effect on you, because you realize that these things are not just stories. They are really events that have basically transcended history itself and have become sort of eternal in the moment here. So it's really deep for me. Also, I think the first time I saw the dome, I had this deep feeling of belonging, in the sense that we know from the scriptures, the Quran and the Hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, that we were created for the love of the Ahlul Bayt, that we belong to the Ahlul Bayt. But I think that being here made me realize this in the core of my very being. It's not that I think or that I feel, but I know, my entire being knows, with every particle of my being, that I was created for one purpose only, which is to love Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Of course, whatever I can give His Majesty is nothing compared to the sacrifice that he accepted to undergo to save my wretched soul. But it's something you realize when you come here, that there's a sense of belonging that is very strong, and you realize that you belong to this person, and that link will always be there. It's also a journey of self-discovery, in the sense that you see, you get a sense of completeness, of completion being here. You feel that everything in your life suddenly makes all sense, and that God has a plan for you, and that you don't need to worry, And you know, it's very reassuring and it's very comforting, I think, to realize that. I'm not just talking here about emotions. It's not just a feeling, but really something that is shown to the heart, and it's something I deeply trust and I work with. Yeah, I mean, first of all, as advised by the Shaheed Sayyid Muhammad Reza Shirazi, rahmatullah alayh, I think I did what he advised to do, which is to pray for the reappearance of His Majesty Hadrat Sahib Zaman Ajal Farajahum, and I prayed, of course, for the well-being and the protection of our fellow brothers and sisters in the wilaya. And then, yes, I tried to pray for as many people I could remember. It's really interesting when you go to Karbala, so many people ask you to pray for them. So yes, I tried my utmost best, and then came my own personal, you know, desires, my hajat that I wish to see fulfilled. If I have a message for people who are listening to me, is that you definitely have to come. It's one of a lifetime experience, and I wouldn't worry too much about physical conditions. I mean, yes, fine. I mean, Iraq is a country that is reconstructing itself after terrible wars that happened in the region. But nevertheless, the caretakers of the shrines do their utmost best to keep quite high, you know, standards of hygiene. And there's a very well organized, you know, way of doing things here. The HOTBIRD basically employ several thousand people to basically accommodate the pilgrims, and I found myself that they were very helpful, and I think that's one of the things that I think you should not basically worry too much about. Security-wise, there are checkpoints everywhere. The police is doing a wonderful job checking any possible intrusion, and I don't feel any need to feel worried when I'm here in Karbala. It feels really, really safe, actually. Yeah, and I ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for this to be the first of many other visits to Karbala, and I really wish you the same as well. And I hope you keep me in my prayers in the same way that I keep you in my prayers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mustafa Razvi. I am from New York, Brooklyn. I've been there for over 35 years now. My original aim was, I've always heard about Karbala and what had happened from the Mulanas, and I always wanted to see where it happened to get a better understanding of exactly what and how everything went down. I came here to understand exactly what had happened and see it from my own eyes, so I become closer to what I believe in. It was exactly the same as I was listening in the majlises, but coming here and actually feeling the ground and seeing the zaris brings about you a humbleness and also an angriness that what had happened was unconceivable at this point. I don't know how to explain you that. You feel a lot of sadness, tremendous sadness, when you see the zaris and everything else, and Karbala, the Zameen, when you see the ground that it happened at. My first feeling is angerness towards the people who did this to the Imam, and what were their thinkings behind this reasoning. Second thing is sadness of what happened, what actually did happen. And I was trying to understand for quite a long time. That how do they get the courage and how do they get the peace in themselves to overcome what they had to overcome? It's inconceivable what they did and what they went through. Nor, I don't think anybody in the world has gone through that much suffering and to still carry Allah's word. I personally think Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Imam al-Mahdi want us to do the right thing in the sense of become good Muslims and to understand what Allah meant for us and how to live with each other in peace. What I expect Imam Hussein alayhi salam to do for me is to guide me to do the right thing, to show me what's right and wrong, to show me how to live with family, with friends, with neighbors, overall to understand about Allah, bottom line. And what Allah meant when He created us for this world. Islam is not about war. Islam is about peace and finding the true inner peace in yourself. Islam is about finding Allah and what Allah wants and how Allah wants you to live. You're supposed to live with each other in peace, bottom line.